So letter E here, we've got the radius of, or the R value of -2 and my theta of 5 pi over 8. If I think about this one in terms of graphing it on my polar graph, that's going to be negative, so angle of 5 pi over 8 is going to be somewhere up in here, but because I'm going negative, that point is going to be down there. So I need to have my answer be in quadrant 4 as my brief little logic check. So x equals r cosine of theta is going to be -2 times the cosine of 5 pi over 8. When I type that into the calculator, because it's not on the unit circle, I get 0.765, which is, as an x value, would be either in quadrant number 1 or quadrant number 4. So far my check is good. Y equals r sine of theta. That's going to be -2 times the sine of 5 pi over 8. Again, not on the unit circle, so I can use a calculator for that. And I get -1.848. If I combine those two into a rectangular point, I get a point that is in quadrant number 4, which is good because that's where my my polar point is also. So that works out for me. Going to letter F now. Letter F, if I go on the Cartesian coordinate system, -3, -5 is down there. So I need to be in that quadrant when I go and do my polar point. So that gives me an R value of the square root of -3 quantity squared plus -5 quantity squared, which is 9 plus 25, which is the square root of 34. Since I am in quadrant number 3, theta prime here is going to be the inverse tangent of 5/3, and that's going to be 59.0362 degrees. Because I am in quadrant number 3, my actual theta is going to be 180 degrees plus my theta prime. So that's going to give me an actual angle of 239.036 degrees. So the polar point here would be the square root of 34, comma, 239.036 degrees. That angle of 239 degrees puts me into quadrant number 3, which is where I need to be, and it puts me the square root of 34 away from the pole, which is the hypotenuse of my -3, -5 triangle.